the reason that I found your YouTube channel was because Zelda Ura. Just constantly looking up videos, because every time that I learn something new, it gets me excited. They're like always crossing my fingers one day a ROM will pop up somewhere.
Yeah,
but
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to find that ROM so hard for you.
Yeah.
I have so many different leads for people that might have Zelda Ura, but have development stuff that who knows what's on it.
Yeah.
But they hold it so close to the chest that it's hard to get them to, you know, trust a YouTube stranger to test it. But I'm questing for you, sir. I'm trying to get that Zelda ROM for you real hard, which I guess is another thing maybe your viewers should know, is that in restoration, you know, we do game restoration basically and backups and stuff. So it's like we're actually searching for these games. But I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
It's fine. I was trying to think anyways, because I didn't want to get his name wrong. But just well, I guess not recently now, it was about 6 months ago, I started, like I just mentioned how there's people I used to be fans of that I got relationships with. One of those people was someone named Mike Drucker, who he used to write for IGN. He used to work at Nintendo, and he even worked on like Saturday Night Live and stuff, doing the writing for the scripts and everything. But when he worked at Nintendo, during the interview, there was some cool things that he told me. Like, if you've ever played Skyward Sword, he named Groose, the character. Like, they were trying to come up with like bird-like names for all of the characters. He was able to come up with that, write some of the funnier moments in the game. But the coolest thing that he told me was that I believe it was like once a year, once every 2 years, Nintendo would do a thing for employees to where they would have a warehouse full of unsold stuff. And they would let people come in, and you would be able to buy for like really cheap, in the box, completely wrapped NES consoles and stuff like that. And in my head, I was wondering, obviously people are going, like, they're not going to expect to find anything super rare. As rare as like a complete, never touched, in the box, still wrapped up NES is. I would never expect there to be like a box, like an unopened package of disk drive stuff or whatever. But in the back of my head, I'm like, maybe like way in the back in the corner, there's an unopened box that no one's ever looked at. So what do you think the chances actually are of someone going to like a warehouse or a storage unit like that and finding something that did have Zelda Ura, or at least something related to it? Or the bigger question is, even if someone did find like an actual disk drive cartridge or whatever to put in, would it even work with Ocarina of Time if they did find it? Because I know there's been videos and stuff where like the logo shows up on the screen and it says disc, and the save menu has disc beside it. But to my knowledge, whenever they scrapped the plan for the expansion, I assume they must have recoded the game to where it would be as complete as it could be without the stuff. So even if someone did find it, would it even work with the actual game?
Possibly yes, because Ocarina of Time was originally a disc drive game. Then they pared it down to release it on a cartridge. But after they released it on a cartridge, they were still intending to release Ura Zelda, right? So their intention was to still release something that was compatible. So because the way that the cartridge is, it has what's called DD hooks. So it recognizes when the disc is in there. So the cartridge is primed and ready to have Ura Zelda be plugged in. Now, the particular build of Ura Zelda that might be found, if anything is ever found, would it be compatible? That's speculation. But theoretically, if it was designed to work with the retail cartridge, which was already released, and that was the idea, it was supposed to be designed to work with the retail cartridge, then it should work.
Alright, so it wouldn't be a thing to where, like, right before release, like a few months before, they were like, okay, this isn't going to work, just cut all this out, make it so that Ocarina of Time is as complete as it can be on a single cartridge without the use of an expansion. You don't think it was a situation like that? To where...
No. They were trying to make it as complete as it could be without being on the disk drive, because it was originally on the disk drive. But, you know, if you take a look at your old Nintendo powers, they were talking about Ura Zelda for a long time after Ocarina of Time was released. So it was definitely released with the intention of functioning, which is why you can hack the game to get that disc tag on it, because it wants to be connected to it, essentially.
Right.
There you go.
Camera lost focus for a second.
Yeah. So theoretically, it could be. And to answer your, or rather kind of going off of the thought that you had talked about regarding Nintendo's warehouses, when Nintendo moved locations in Seattle years back, they had like a garage sale. And a lot of employees got prototype-y stuff or like development discs and such. A lot of the development discs were supposedly wiped.
Yeah, maybe that was what he was talking about whenever he was talking.
Yeah, might have been.
Because it's been 5-6 years since he worked there, I assume.
Yeah.
Since it was Skyward Sword and one of the Mario Party games.
Yeah, and then other stuff just gets out however, right? I don't know, because whether it's supposed to or not, that kind of thing. But I've definitely talked to people that have had some rare stuff. It's just, they get real nervous about shipping it, So I've had one guy that he sent me like 3 or 4 blue discs, and unfortunately they've all been blank, other than some junk data. But there are some other people that I'm aware of. I'm trying to talk to, and maybe I'll be able to see what they have. Maybe I won't, but there is definitely a lot out there that exists that we don't know about.
So if there's anybody watching this that knows someone who has a disk drive cartridge or a disc or what, see, I want to keep calling them cartridges because from the outside they look like cartridges.
Yeah, they're technically discs. They're like zip drives. Yeah. So basically, what we can do is we can take N64 carts and N64 DD discs and preserve them. And we're going to be getting the hardware to do that with SNES and NES and other cartridges as well. But the thing about development hardware is that it can be very fragile. It can be old. It can be programmed to delete itself after a playthrough.
Oh, wow.
So they are very, very, what's the word? Almost tentative when it comes to their existence. So we're trying to encourage people, if they have these things, do not boot them up. What you can do is you can dump them and preserve them. So it's like, okay, I have a ROM now. If this thing dies, for whatever reason, the ROM it exists. We're not screwed here.
All right,
so people have to be very careful. Yeah.
So for a message of people watching that may know somebody or have one of these themselves, what would you want to tell them?
I would want to say that it's very important from a historical standpoint to get this thing preserved as soon as possible. Especially if someone has it, maybe they're keeping it in their basement or in their attic or something like that. And a lot of people, kind of their follow-up question is, well, what will you do? And the answer is, we'll take it, we'll test it, we'll dump it, we'll send you the digital contents right away, and then maybe we'll do a video on it depending on the contents, because we are a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then we'll ship it right on back to you.
And where could they get a hold of you at?
Hard4Games, HARD 4 games @gmail.com, or same thing, Twitter, Facebook, our YouTube channel. Lots of different ways to connect with us. We always encourage people to connect, even if they just have questions regarding, like, okay, what can I do with this? How can I preserve it? How can I store it properly? That kind of stuff. Those are things that we like to answer for people, because
definitely
we don't want these things to paint. Yeah, exactly. Not next to your speakers, exactly. So, we just feel very strongly about game preservation, basically.
Right. And for the final question, sorry for keeping you on too long. In my head, I was thinking this would be 30 minutes. It's gone on for about an hour.
Yeah.
But the final question, I do these interviews with YouTube channels or people that I look up to in the gaming industry that I've either been a fan of or have a lot of respect for because I like the content that they're able to make. And so whenever you're not working doing family stuff, working on a video or whatever, and it's just your relaxed time or whatever. What YouTube channels do you go to have like senseless, funny videos or to learn about new stuff? Like, what is your go-to stuff? Earlier you mentioned you were a fan of Super Metal Dave, but just other YouTubes in general. Because
you mean Metal Jesus Rocks?
Oh yeah, sorry. There's a YouTube channel called Super Metal Dave, or yeah, I think it's Super Metal Dave 64. That
okay.
Did
That's
a
a
lot
killer
of
name though.
Yeah, he did a bunch of Nintendo. I was gonna say 64. He did a bunch of Nintendo Switch news videos, and I had him stuck in my head. So sorry about that.
No, that's all good. Yeah, so I mean, there's a bunch of different YouTubers I watch. I watch some of Review Tech USA stuff. I watch Pat the NES Punk. I like his podcasts with Ian. Cygnus Destroyer has some great stuff. There is this one guy, he's like kind of a youngin' compared to me, called Digiman, and he's like this like late teens, I think, like just super skinny nerd, and he's hilarious and like well put together, super underappreciated videos. Pelvic Gaming with Lady Pelvic that I mentioned earlier, like, has personality times 1,000, and she's like super underrated. It's a crime. I think it's literally a crime how underrated she is, which is why I reached out to her. I'm like, we got to do something about this. Yeah. Holy shit! Like, she has like 2,000 subscribers, but she's like the most bubbly personality on the internet.
There's really quick. Don't mean to interrupt you, but there was a similar thought that I had with the channel. I came across them, and whenever I found them, like now that I think they finally passed 1,000 subscribers, but like a year ago they only had 20-30 subscribers when I found them. But they had like professional microphones, professional recording gear, everything was very well edited. The structure, like, they looked like they were a part of some YouTube channel that already had 1 million subscribers, and then they broke off to do their own thing.
Sure,
and they just used all of the equipment because the quality was really high. And they would post different conversational videos, Nintendo related, every single day. And I was like, this is great. Kind of like, what was... never mind, I forgot the name of it. Good Mythical Morning, I believe. They're like Good Mythical Morning, but just all about Nintendo.
Okay.
So I was a huge fan of them, and then after I talked to him, found out that they had just started their YouTube channel and everything, which is why they didn't have many subscribers. And same as you, I thought it was a crime that they didn't have more, because I was in love with the videos they were making. It was just, for whatever reason, YouTube wasn't promoting them. So
yeah, no, it's funny how YouTube works. It's a pain in the ass, you know. But to answer your question, yeah, there's a ton of YouTubers that I watch. I know John really likes Donkey and Red Letter Media, and big and small. Like, I'm always, you know, like trying to check out different YouTubers' channels and see what they have to offer, basically. So.
All right, and I guess that wraps it up. So earlier you mentioned that if anyone wanted to get a hold of you, Hard4Games, gmail.com, YouTube, Twitter. Twitter,
Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, so everything is just Hard4Games. I'm sure they'll come across it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, every once in a while, like on Facebook, you'll have a space between the hard and the 4 and the games, but for the most part, it's one word. Hard4Games with the numeral 4. And yeah, check out our YouTube channel. If you want to reach out to us, you can do so on social media. You're definitely welcome to do so. And you know, hopefully your subscribers that watch this will find some content that is kind of like similar on our channel, because I know that you focus a lot on Zelda and canceled games and such, which is kind of what we do too.
Many Zelda, Mario, and just Nintendo related content on your channel. So if anyone's watching this that are subscribed to me, even if you're not, please go check out Hard4Games, and thank you for coming on, talking to me. It's been, looks like right at an hour now, so thank you.
There we
go. Yeah, thank you once again for coming on, and for everybody watching, we'll see you later.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
The videos on this channel are funded by supporters on Patreon like you. If you're a fan of this channel and would like to join on videos, receive shoutouts, watch videos early, have your questions answered, or have your topic discussed on our podcast, please consider supporting on Patreon for these and many other rewards for just $1. Shoutouts for this video includes Link Use the Triforce, Rusty Caulfield, Lovable Christie, Give Time 15, Shadow to Us, Robbie Morgan, and Lunarium. I want to thank all of you for everything you have done to help support this channel.